Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So I thought I'd give you a bit of an update. It was the fourth day since the letter would have been open letter had been sent out to Rishi Sunak, Mrs. Keegan, the Secretary of Education, Secretary of Social Care and Health, the Department of Education, their website, because she doesn't accept and only not from people that don't live in the same place as her. Who else was it? There's the Swale, who run the school, local MP, something to do with funding, and a few others. And the first person's come back, and it's the school, and it's the new headmistress or principal, I guess they're called now, who wants to meet us with Senko to discuss this. I think she, on the phone call to my wife, used the word complaint. I don't know if that's just my wife paraphrasing that, because it wasn't like, if you've read the letter, then it's not really a complaint about the school. It's a complaint about, well, it's the whole thing, the system. I guess the school does come into it, but it's really to do with changing how the funding system works for neurodivergent children. I don't know if it works the same in other places. I know ISEND is. I think ISEND is just East Sussex, so I don't know if it is other places whether they do the 3-term review, where they review, you meet, and the review, you meet, you review, and meet, so you lose 3 terms just doing that. Even though in the first meeting we all described what was needed, and then you have to apply on the term 4 for the EHCP, and that takes 20 weeks. That takes you, basically, that whole process is a year out of someone's education. And if you're telling it at the beginning that you're not supporting that child and are unable to, and there's been no progress, and you're going to just carry on with that system. I mean, I'm the type of person that I can't. And a lot of people, when it comes to problems, at work, you get this all the time, and there's a problem, and they'll just leave it, or just, okay, that's how it is. Let's just carry on dealing with that, or work around, or whatever. I can't be like that. I need to say, like, I found a problem. I can't deal with it. Well, let me see if I can find someone who can, and I'll pass it up and ask, or IT or whoever, and then eventually it'll fall into the person who can fix it, and then it gets fixed. So that's my mindset. I've always been like that, trying to solve a problem myself if I can, and if it's out of my reach. So let's hope that they come with that same kind of mindset, that there's a bit of pressure being put down on them hopefully from Swale or from the Department of Education. Let's hope that whoever is putting the pressure on them, is going to check up on them, rather than just, like the last time the Director of Child Services just made a phone call and asked a few questions and got the answers back that they wanted, so they could just forget about it. Oh yes, what's happening here? Oh yeah, no, we're following the system. Okay, is Alina getting supported? Oh yes, she's getting supported. They didn't quantify how much she was getting supported. I think then it was, I don't even know if it was just a few hours. According to the AMP reports, a few hours a week. But because that's what she wanted to hear, and then just go off and then think the problem's gone away. And obviously now I've come back and said exactly what I thought was going to happen. I'm sure if you listen back to my Pursuit of Truth when I first made it about that first meeting, I knew that this would be the end result. And yes, lo and behold, we're here. If only they had the foresight that I have, then we could have skipped all this. The problem is they have to follow a system. So that's why the letter isn't really blaming them, it's blaming the system. But in the same sense, also blame the school, because neurodivergent, autistic, ADHD, Asperger's, disabled children have always been around, and they're, we're all very knowledgeable in the last 20 years, and therefore schools should have already adapted and found a way, because they get the funding, especially if they're a trust, to spend it, not just for neurotypicals, but also for neurodivergence, because like this Professor Jason Ardy, who couldn't speak to 11 and later write, and yet he's the youngest black professor at Cambridge University. So, and he had global development delay and autism, just like my daughter. And there's loads of famous people, creative people, who have autism or some kind of neurodivergent aspect to them. And so, we should have found a system already, and schools should have already adapted that. And if, this is my third example of autism, and I can write to my MP and Department of Education, why can't the people in the profession do the same thing and have the same kind of care and concern as I have? So yeah, they're the first one to come back. We've got a meeting after Easter. Let's see how it goes. I'm sure it's only going to be all smiles and smiles and smiles and smiles, and nothing's changed. And this is the system. I'm so sorry about that. How can we help? Let's hope that, really, well, you need to look at the system. I've told you what the problem is. You're the ones who can fix it. Go fix it. Make it so that no other parent has to do this again, and that no teacher has to say they're failing a student just because they're neurodivergent. Give them the training. Change the way the system works, the school works. Fund those areas so you have a teacher in every year for neurodivergence. At least that would be a start. And as they're given a pot of money trust to spend it and make their own curriculum, that's easy for them to do. And hopefully from the government, I hope they're going to come back and say that they're going to look at this system. Hopefully I send, East Sussex will change the 3-term rule. And hopefully the funding, they fund from day one like they do in neurotypicals. That's what I really want. So yeah, take care, take it easy, go best, and peace.